Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 environmental resolutions that I will be trying to implement for this year 2023 because I have learned a lot in the past few years in my journey as a sociology student, learning about climate change, and generally as a person really concerned about the environment. Today I'm going to be sharing the 5 things that I think will be making a big difference in how I approach the climate change situation and what I think will make a difference in climate change solutions. So watch this video if you've ever wanted to get inspiration of, what are ways you can be more environmentally friendly. I hope this inspires people to start thinking about, the different ways they can live their lives that is more eco-conscious and, more importantly, in a way that is more effective than what typical eco advice might be like. And I'll explain that a little bit later. So number 1, stop stressing over the small stuff. Now, I personally have this problem where if I'm out with my friends and I don't finish my food, for example, and I have to take away the food in like a little plastic box and then, it comes in like a plastic bag, I get seriously stressed over the waste that I'm creating. So like with almost every meal that I'm eating out, when I'm eating out, I am worried. I'm like, where is this waste gonna go? Oh my god, Malaysia doesn't have a good recycling system. This is so bad. Like, what am I supposed to do next time? Or similarly, if my drink comes with a plastic straw and I forget to tell them no straw please, instead of just drinking straight from the cup, which is not as unhygienic as some people think it is because it's the same as using cutlery, but I digress. I get really stressed over these like small environmental issues. And I used to think for many, many years, I justified it as being environmentally conscious and environmentally aware, and that's a good thing. However, the problem is that when I stress over these small things, I actually will end up burning out much faster than if I just let these things go. Because the thing about problems such as environmental waste, plastic pollution, is that the problem is massive. It's linked to overconsumption, companies and their marketing of how they, create everlasting demand for their products. The problem also lies within design and engineering of linear products. For example, plastic bottles were created only to be used for a short amount of time before being disposed. And the companies that design these products, like plastic bottles, take no responsibility over the waste that they produce and the waste that they put into the environment later on. And so comes this concept that I've learned in like first or second year about individual responsibility. Now, individual responsibility is this concept that has been perpetuated by especially big companies of, how to be more environmentally responsible. It's up to us to figure out like where the waste goes, if we're recycling properly. However, the problem with this is that we exist in a society that is not designed to be environmentally sustainable. So for example, I might be recycling my plastic bottles, but in a country like Malaysia where our recycling system is not even great, and what I mean by that is a lot of our trash actually ends up in landfills anyway, despite being collected, is that you end up kind of just wasting your efforts over something that doesn't really work. Now, this is not me belittling all recycling companies. I think the efforts are noble, but what I'm getting at here is to live a zero waste lifestyle in a society that does not support zero waste living is very, very difficult. And so to stress out over the small things like plastic straws or plastic bottles and stressing out, where are they gonna end up, is a big waste and burnout of my energy. And you only have a finite amount of energy to care, to be responsible, and to put in effort. So I'm just going to drop sweating about the small stuff and focus my energy instead on bigger solutions, thinking more systems thinking. Number two, I want to read more on climate change. So this is a bit of an ironic one because, as an environmentalist, I actually avoid reading a lot of climate change news. I avoid researching things in my own time because of the amount of stress I feel. Some of these concerns are valid because there is a lot of media out there that genuinely thrives off of negative articles, negative headlines, doomsday type information, and they want people to worry, they want people to stress out because negative headlines catch more attention, get more clicks, and so these companies get paid more, right? But what I've done wrong is avoided reading about climate change almost at all, unless it was for my degree, for my essay, for my research. But that needs to change. Why my next resolution is to read more about climate change is because what actually happens when I start reading articles, when I start learning about a problem, or when I start learning about communities that have great solutions for problems, I actually gain a lot of hope, I gain a lot of knowledge, I start, redirecting how I think about the environmental problem. And these are all extremely helpful things and extremely helpful ways of reconsidering the climate crisis, and ultimately is going to be really beneficial if I'm going to continue as a researcher or as an environmentalist in general. Having more knowledge means having more hope, and having more knowledge means being a better activist and being a more effective activist. So I really just need to get out of the bad habit of being afraid to read more about things. I don't know if anyone else does this, but yeah, I need to stop denying myself the skills and the knowledge, which, kind of not reading makes me more anxious, which makes me less likely to read more, which makes me anxious again. That's why I need to break that negative cycle by just reading more. One book, for example, that I'm really interested in reading this year is a book called Is It Really Green? Everyday Eco Dilemmas Answered. And what I think is great about this book is it answers my first problem, which is wondering whether, am I doing the right thing by not taking away my food at a restaurant but wasting the food that I have left over? What really is an environmentally good decision when you live in a world that is complex and doing the right thing is very difficult in terms of the environment. Number 3, I would like to improve my zero waste habits. Now, again, this might seem to conflict with my first point, but what I mean is there are some ways that I could kind of easily transition into a less wasteful lifestyle, particularly with toiletries. So in the last few years, there are a lot of small companies who have jumped on the zero waste bandwagon, refillable stores, plastic-free shampoo bars, conditioner bars, body soap bars. And again, I guess it's kind of ironic as an environmentalist, I don't have the most zero waste kind of lifestyle. Although it is difficult, I think I would like to try to be more intentional with shopping with smaller businesses who focus on, packaging free products and generally just embracing a zero waste lifestyle a little better. Because I've come to realize that it's actually way more achievable than I thought. I've been on TikTok and I've seen a lot of small content creators, small businesses promoting their really effective and popular products like, natural deodorants, shampoo bars, again, like makeup, or just generally in the toiletries area of zero waste lifestyles. I think generally, when it comes to toiletries at least, I would like to improve by not purchasing fancy shampoo that comes in plastic bottles that, was shipped from, European countries where they made that nice shampoo. There are a lot of nice local products out there that are plastic free, and I would just like to use more of them this year. Number 4, I would like to connect more with those in the environmental network. Now, this is similar to reading more about the climate problem, because when I connect more with environmental activists or academicians or scientists, they're almost always, and in my experience, have always been extremely kind, extremely ready to share knowledge. And there's this added benefit of me feeling really, really hopeful after connecting with somebody who is also concerned about the planet. Because one of the main problems about being an environmentalist or somebody extremely concerned about the climate and the climate change issue is you feel really, really alone. I started worrying about the climate crisis when I was 9 years old, and I was the only one in my family who was worried. I grew up for many, many years being the only one who talked about it or who seemed to care about it. I didn't have a lot of role models growing up in my local community or even online. But that has drastically changed with, social media and a lot of key figures on the internet making their work really known. And now with the power to just DM anybody at any time or to email anybody at any time, both locally or internationally, there is really no excuse for me to just kind of keep quiet. I would like to start the habit of the moment I have a question or a concern or I want to know something about something, just contact somebody. And finally, number 5, and I think this is one of the most important things. I think generally with all environmental solutions, the best ones are the ones that are not individually focused. And what I mean by this is systems thinking. So systems thinking is a way of understanding a problem in terms of a collective, bigger picture system, rather than just focusing on one small problem and trying to solve that. You kind of see the bigger picture and realize that there are more factors involved that might be causing this problem. And so while we might think the solution is in one place, maybe the solution is elsewhere, or maybe the solution has to be different from what we initially thought. And so with my final resolution, I would like to share more environmental knowledge with the world, which was part of the reason why I started this YouTube channel, because I wanted to figure out a way to share all the important and crucial information and, you know, knowledge that I've picked up over the last few years through my degree, through just my own personal understandings and experiences with the climate problem, because that changes the effect and impact of being an individual researcher or somebody with environmental knowledge to making it a collective thing, creating a community that discusses climate change, creating an audience that is more informed rather than, you know, just informing myself. And so that becomes a bit more systems thinking as opposed to just studying by myself and producing my own essays, handing it into a lecturer who's already, you know, really knowledgeable in this area. By creating more YouTube videos about climate change, I'll be able to empower, hopefully, inspire, and equip more people with the knowledge that might help improve the way they approach the climate crisis, which is really important. Because when it comes to the climate change problem, it really takes a village. There is no individual solving here. There's going to be no single hero that saves the world. It really is going to take collective action at the end of the day. And so for me, that's creating more YouTube videos and talking about it more on Instagram. And for other people, that might be, you know, talking about it more with their friends or talking about it more in their family, in your WhatsApp group chats, in your, you know, group chats. So that's it. 5 environmental resolutions that I will be trying to adhere to for 2023. I hope to be creating more consistently this year. It's definitely been a bit of a struggle. YouTube is kind of hard. It's a completely new skill. I've never done this before, but hopefully over time, I will get better at it. My biggest issue now is actually trying to figure out how to condense these complex topics into 10-minute videos or less. It's pretty hard. And trying to make it entertaining at the same time, yeah, that's pretty difficult, but I will continue trying. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this with your family, your friends, you know, whether they like the environment or not. Maybe it'll inspire somebody to, you know, think more about the earth this year. I think these next few years are going to be extremely crucial, and how we act, how we think, and how we respond to this problem is going to make the absolute difference in whether humanity survives this problem or not over the next few years. So, is that too dramatic? Anyway, bye!